A wave of homebuyers across Washington are walking away from deals at the last second, leaving sellers stunned, builders scrambling, and the governor staring at a growing pile of busted contracts. In some markets, it feels like every "sold" sign has a question mark spray painted over it. In this video, we're breaking down why Washington buyers are suddenly canceling home deals, how federal chaos and housing policy are making everything worse, and what this means for prices, foreclosures, and your next move. Stay to the end because I'll show you 3 smart plays for buyers and 3 for homeowners so you don't get crushed if this trend accelerates. Quick question. If you had a home under contract today and your payment jumped $600 a month before closing, would you push through the pain or walk away and lose the deposit? Drop "push through" or "walk away" in the comments. I want to see how many people are at their breaking point. The offer's accepted, the selfies are taken, the under contract banner goes up. And then, out of nowhere, the buyer's agent sends a cold 2-line email. "My clients are withdrawing. We're terminating the contract." Deals in Washington are collapsing at the last minute, turning what should be a done deal into a financial cliffhanger. Inspections, rate quotes, and second thoughts are killing closings in slow motion. It feels like every signature comes with an escape hatch. If you're selling, assume nothing is closed until money hits your account. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Buyers don't just look at mortgage charts, they look at Washington chaos and wonder if their income is next on the chopping block. Talk of shutdowns, funding cuts, and messy federal budgets sends a quiet shock through any economy that depends on government money, and Washington is deeply exposed. Confidence is currency in housing, and political drama drains it fast. Fear freezes wallets. Before you buy or sell, track federal job stability and contracts in your region. Picture this. A Washington family sits down to review their final loan estimate, expecting a payment around $2,300. And instead, the updated rate, taxes, and insurance push it closer to $2,900. That's not a small difference. That's a lifestyle change. Suddenly, dinner's out, kids' activities, and savings all get sacrificed to feed the mortgage. Sticker shock kills courage. For many buyers, walking away hurts less than signing up for quiet financial suffocation. Before you go under contract, stress test the payment at 1 full percent higher. What if I told you Washington's future might already be playing out 2,600 miles away in D.C.? In the nation's capital, a market once defined by bulletproof demand is now seeing slower sales, cautious buyers, and homes taking longer to move. That's what happens when government uncertainty meets high prices. Confidence erodes and contracts crack. Washington State, with its own dependence on public money and big employers, is staring at a similar script. Watch how D.C. reacts to uncertainty. It's often your preview, not a fluke. Not long ago, buyers in Washington were begging just to be considered, waiving inspections, dropping contingencies, and tossing extra cash on top like tips. Now, cancellations are quietly flipping the script. When a deal falls through, that same hot property suddenly sits and sits. Sellers who once laughed at repair requests are suddenly offering credits, rate buy-downs, and closing cost help. Power is migrating inch by inch. As a buyer, don't chase hype. Target homes that just fell out of contract for real leverage. At first, every seller believes their house is immune. Someone else will pay more. We'll just relist. But after the second showing weekend fizzles, and the second buyer backs out over inspection issues, reality hits hard. The longer that "for sale" sign stays stuck in the yard, the louder the questions get. Did we overprice? Is the market turning? Are we about to miss the top? Panic doesn't arrive all at once. It drips in with every cancellation. If you're selling, price for where the market is heading, not where your ego lives. When buyers start bailing, builders feel it fast. That shiny new subdivision with colorful flags and glossy brochures. Behind the scenes, spreadsheets are bleeding red as contracts vanish, and spec homes sit longer than planned. Developers who once raced to pour foundations now quietly delay new phases, renegotiate with lenders, or shelve projects entirely. Less certainty means less construction, and less construction today usually means tighter inventory tomorrow. Pay attention to local new build projects. Paused dirt predicts future shortages. On paper, this should be their moment. Fewer bidding wars, more motivated sellers, and homes that finally drop out of the stratosphere. But for renters and first-time buyers in Washington, reality is harsher. High rates, strict underwriting, and rising everyday costs mean many still can't clear the approval bar. The irony? Homes get a bit cheaper just as money gets harder to access. Opportunity and obstacle arrive together. Use this window to fix credit, reduce debt, and build approval power. If you're anywhere in Washington, this isn't just a housing headline. It's your financial weather report. Canceled contracts, shifting leverage, nervous builders. All of that will shape what you pay, what you earn, and what your equity looks like a year from now. I'm breaking these patterns down in real time so you don't have to guess. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment with what you're seeing locally so we can map this shift together. When people hear national housing emergency, they picture dramatic podium speeches. In reality, it looks like late-night executive orders, rushed policies, and markets trying to adjust on the fly. One announcement can change how quickly homes get approved, what builders are allowed to build, or how lenders treat risk. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it confuses everyone at once. Policy shock is real shock. Don't just track prices. Track policy headlines, because they hit wallets next. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The federal government talks in sweeping slogans, but housing is painfully local. Zoning boards, city councils, and state laws decide what actually gets built in your neighborhood. That's why a governor can be furious about canceled deals while still waiting on federal clarity that may never arrive. The disconnect is brutal. DC debates, local markets bleed. Watch what your state and city do on housing, not just Washington, D.C. Most contracts don't die because someone stopped liking the kitchen. They die because someone got spooked about income, a layoff rumor, a hiring freeze, a contract that doesn't get renewed. Suddenly, that safe monthly payment feels like a trap. In states tied to big employers and government work, a single announcement can ripple through dozens of pending deals. Jobs and mortgages are handcuffed together. Before you close, ask, how secure is my income for the next 24 months? Housing headlines love big, dramatic averages. But your bank account lives in a zip code, not a national chart. In Washington, some neighborhoods will barely flinch, while others feel like someone slammed the brakes. Well-located suburbs with good schools and solid commutes might see smaller price drops and fewer cancellations. Meanwhile, fringe areas, overpriced condos, or speculative up-and-coming zones can suddenly go quiet. One block holds firm, the next one over is begging for offers. Study street-level comps, not just citywide stats, before making your move. When regular buyers step back, you'd think investors would charge in and scoop everything up, but the smart money is cautious too. Big landlords, flippers, and funds are running new math. Higher rates, slower rent growth in some areas, and real political risk. In markets like Washington, they'll shift from buy anything that stands to only buy what cash flows on day one. Suddenly, not every house is an asset. Some are landmines. If you invest, underwrite deals at worst-case rent and higher rates before saying yes. If you're a homeowner watching deals fall apart around you, this is not the moment for wishful thinking. First, price ahead of the curve, slightly under where the comps are drifting, not where they peaked last year. Second, remove landmines, pre-inspect, fix obvious issues, and have receipts ready so buyers don't freak out mid-escrow. Third, get flexible on terms. Closing dates, credits, and rate buy-downs can save a deal that price alone can't. Certainty is now a selling feature. In a fragile market, speed plus flexibility often beat squeezing for every last dollar. If you're renting or trying to buy in Washington, treat this like a strategy game, not a lottery. First, upgrade your ammo. Go beyond a casual pre-qualification and get fully underwritten, so when you offer, you look bulletproof to nervous sellers. Second, Write offers with real exit ramps, inspection, financing, and appraisal contingencies that let you walk if the numbers go sideways. Third, hunt wounded listings, homes that have sat for weeks or already fallen out of contract once. Those sellers are often ready to deal. In this market, the best prepared buyer quietly gets the best terms.